Game number 1 of Deviled Keggs versus Uncomfortably Numb. We're currently just sitting here in the lobby waiting for everyone to say that they are ready. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. We have the map picks and bans already up on the board. We had Uncomfortably Numb as the number 2 seed. So they are going to have choice of map or hero pick going into game number 1. Uncomfortably Numb opted for map pick, chose to ban out BOE and Infernal Shrines. Deviled Keggs banning out Cursed Hollow and Braxis Holdout, and Uncomfortably Numb picked Towers of Doom. So in case you were wondering, that's how we got here for game number 1. Looks like we have just a bit of a bio break from a couple people before we're gonna go ahead and get started. So thank you all of you for tuning in here. I forgot to bring over my cell phone, so I'm not going to have chat comments for game number 1, so hopefully I'm not messing anything up too badly. Got a little bit of a back and forth chat saying that one person should be back in an hour. Obviously they're just being a little bit facetious. But we have the ready from both teams, so we should be getting started into the draft in just a moment. There we go.
Of Doom.
So Towers of Doom being picked out as map number 1 by Uncomfortably Numb, and they had the choice for map pick, so I'd like to see if they have something in particular planned for this map, some kind of a spicy strategy. Maybe something that I hadn't run during the regular season that would cause them to come to this map with such priority. I know virtually nothing about either of these teams. I picked up this game about 15 minutes ago, so I haven't had time to research any of the teams. We're pretty much just going in blind. I recognize a lot of the names on both sides just from people who happen to be in and around NGS, but as far as hero picks or priorities, we got nothing. So first ban's going to be coming out from Deviled Keggs in just a sec, and it is going to be Junkrat. That's a little bit of a surprise. He's kind of strong in this map. He has really good poke, but I don't feel like that's really been the meta on this map for a really long time, so I'm wondering if that's not a target ban for someone from Uncomfortably Numb. Personally, I really like to play the Lost Vikings on this map. I know that the Lost Vikings have a pretty terrible win rate, so I don't really expect to see that here. But teams would get a new fan if they did. Ana ban coming out, and that's a fairly standard ban. Ana has been in the meta basically since her rework, and it's never terribly surprising to see an Ana ban. Also has really long poke range, so it can be pretty good on this map for defending on the shrine points. So, pretty good ban, very standard, doesn't really reveal anything that Uncomfortably Numb are planning to do here. Ban number 2 coming in now from from Deviled Keggs, and it is ETC. That's a bit more of a less standard ban than the Ana ban from their opponents, so I'm thinking that it seems like Deviled Keggs are going for target bans at the moment, where Uncomfortably Numb is going for standard bans. But it's hard to tell when it's just the Ana ban so far from them. Maybe Deviled Keggs have a really good Ana player. Guess we'll find out if she ever gets through draft. Now that has to be a target ban. No one meta bans Alarak, so that's got to be a target ban coming out from Uncomfortably Numb, which is unfortunate. I love the High Lord, and I'd like to see him get played in a game. A lot of time left on that timer as Johanna is picked up by Ravenex. Johanna, the standardest of standard first pick heroes, doesn't reveal anything. She kind of does anything that you want her to do pretty well, and she's the most played hero in NGS by a very significant margin for a reason. She's just a good hero. Alright, now I really hope this is where we start to see this draft come out for Uncomfortably Numb, see what it is that they want to do in this game.
I'm in.
Anduin and Kira, both of the heroes whose mouths don't move, getting drafted by Uncomfortably Numb, and this is a really interesting pickup. I haven't seen too much Kira play ever since her most recent nerf, but I play in a lower skill bracket than this, so I'd like to see if if Novus can show me something I haven't seen before. And Anduin getting picked up. Anduin's been a personal favorite of mine basically since release. I think he's really strong. His crowd control is fantastic. And his 80-second cooldown ability to just fix a stupid mistake is potentially game-winning. So I like both those picks coming out from Uncomfortably Numb. Blaze and Kel'Thas getting picked up. Blaze, I'm a little bit surprised about. I don't see him run in the solo lane very often. They've already got a main tank in Johanna. So that's a bit of a surprise. He is a pretty self-sustaining tank, but he's not as good as he once was in that role. And Kel'Thas, just a good damage healer. The Jimmy ban coming out, that might be a target ban, but if nothing else, it is a much more standard ban than definitely Alarak. So I'm not terribly surprised to see him coming out. Also, with Raven X picking up that Johanna, Jimmy's one of his better counters is already drafted by the enemy team, so they would have less opportunities to stop a Jimmy in draft. So pretty good ban. I like it. And coming out from the Deviled Keggs, we have a Malthael ban. That's interesting. I mostly see Malthael on this map being used to double soak between mid and top. I wonder if that is a strategy that Uncomfortably Numb have played in the past that the Deviled Keggs just don't want to have to deal with. Even if you don't do that, he's a very competent solo laner. I think he beats Blaze in lane ever since they made Blaze less of an offlaner and more of a main tank. Diablo getting picked up by Uncomfortably Numb. And Hanzo. Hanzo, really long poke range, really good damage, burst potential, especially if you go into Scattershot and are good at hitting Scattershot. And Diablo, there's a lot of walls in this map that you can bang heroes around in, and he's just a strong engage tank, and I think that works well with Kira, and especially with Anduin if you go Light Bomb. Having a heavy engage tank like that can really set up the rest of your team. And we've got two Zerg picks coming out. Never mind the skin change immediately coming out from B-Train, but we've got the Tychus and the Stukov getting picked up. So, kind of an interesting choice. There's a lot of lockdown potential for one target with the Johanna Condemn, followed by Blessed Shield with some jet propulsion in there, throw a silence under him, and you've got basically a very dead hero with Anduin's able to yank him out. And Tychus, I don't see very often, and I'm excited to see him here just because I don't see him very often. He's very scary when played well, and very not scary when played poorly. I imagine B-Train plays him quite well. And we've got the Sonya coming out. I believe Sonya does pretty well in lane against Blaze. Generally just a strong all-around hero, great camp potential. So yeah, I'm excited to see how game number 1's going to go. If I had to favor one of these two teams, I might have to go with Uncomfortably Numb just because I'm a huge fan of Anduin, and I think he's a stronger overall hero than Stukov and requires a little bit less actual ability to play, which isn't to say that Stukov can't get value. He certainly can, but I don't know. I'm just a really big fan of Anduin, so that's my guess going into game number 1. Anduin's going to carry the game, and yeah, let Kira just tear through the enemy team. There's actually not a whole lot of answers to Kira,
Prepare yourself,
but we will see. Spawning in the left-hand side, we have Uncomfortably Numb with Famous playing Diablo, Mr. Monkey Man playing the Hanzo, Kiknaz playing the Sonya, Novus playing the Kira, and Pilot of Earth playing the Manduin. And spawning in on the right-hand side, we have Deviled Keggs, who's having a pool party around Tychus. I'm a big fan. With Raven X playing Johanna, Andrew playing Blaze, VZ playing Stukov, Contender playing Kel'Thas, and B-Train B-stepping his way on that Tychus.
2, 1.
Mom is watching, please make her sad. Hello B-Train's mom, and welcome to the stream. I'm sorry that I don't have my phone to check chat right now. All chat all game, please. You've got it, B-Train. We see Blaze not actually wanting to have anything to deal with these mid-team fight shenaniganry. Already in the top lane, giving a nice little 5v4 for the side of Uncomfortably Numb. Not going to be able to get a whole lot done with it other than clear the wave a lot faster. And checking out the level 1 talents, we do have the new habits from Blaze. I believe that's a relatively standard talent. Combat Tactician, big fan. of reducing that minigun cooldown. 8 seconds is a long time. We do have the simple geometry coming out from Hanzo, and Kira's still going into that fatal wounds. It did get nerfed a bit, but it's still a really strong talent. And Anduin with that bold strategy. Of note, and I will never not point this out, Anduin is not currently having his father's sword out at all times, even though he could be doing just that. So, a little bit of a hit on the overall strategy coming out from Uncomfortably Numb, but I don't think it's going to do too much against him. However, Kira is almost certainly going to go down here, staged a little bit too long in the mid lane. B-Train living up to his reputation and B-stepping all of his opponents, as we have Hanzo now trying to take this camp. Famous just providing that little bit of body vision, and Anduin coming in to help as well. Looks like they're not going to try for the invade, just going to be content to take their own camp on the side of the Deviled Keggs. They're going to flashlight it, verify that what is happening is what they think is happening, and then just go on their merry way. Checking out the top lane for just a sec. Neither hero has lost effectively any health at all. Sonya is pushing in a little bit harder. This is kind of what I would expect. Blaze is not as good in the soul lane as it used to be, but still not too bad. And we're got a little bit of a kerfuffle in the jungle area, but not too much. Famous just kind of walking and poking a little bit. Kira's back now into the rotation, helping to clear out these pumpkin camps and try to push their own in, deal some damage to the wall here. Tychus is still up here a little bit, a lot of position. Kira getting quite a bit of damage, does get cleansed off from that Johanna. A little bit of a combo onto B-Train, but he's able to walk out just fine. Insufficient body blocking to keep him in place. A lot of damage actually coming out into Mr. Monkey Man, who gets pulled out by Pilot of Earth and manages not to spread that living bomb, which is a little bit difficult for him to do when getting pulled like that, so good on him for not spreading that. We have the first altar phase, always a triple altar phase spawning in at this point. It looks like there's probably just going to be the common gentleman's agreement. Both sides take their own top camp, or their own top objective rather, and fight over the bottom lane. We do have, I would say, better positioning coming out from the side of the Deviled Keggs, since they have the defensive position on here, and it looks like VZ is pretty much going to get the channel guaranteed, but that is the kill on Johanna, so opting to trade one objective for one kill. Honestly, in the early game, I would usually prefer to get the kill, because it lets you get more map control and parlays you into getting better XP. You do see both the solo laners taking a little quick trip down to the mid lane so that they can double soak, and then they're going to run back over the top lane. That definitely favors Sonya because she has the better wave clear. Diablo stepping up, seeing if they can catch Contender out of position. Can't really do it, so they're just going to step on back. Johanna is back, so we're back to an even game. Pretty close in XP. The Deviled Keggs down about a half a level, going into level 7, but they'll have caught that back up by the time the next objective spawns in, so not a whole lot different coming out from these two teams. Checking the top lane just a sec. We do see Andrew got brought down pretty low earlier, but should still be able to stand in that oil and heal himself up quite well. Give a bit of a fight down here, but I'm screwing this a bit. Kira going in, probably not go. Ooh, did get dropped off on the wrong side of the wall that I think I wanted to be on. B-Train stepping in real far. Johanna's able to step out because of course she is. She is in fact still Johanna. And I didn't mention it before, but did go shorter cooldown on Iron Skin to level 1, so it's going to have that unstoppable up more often. It's absolutely critical against Akira. Otherwise, she's going to merry-go-round your team around all day. Mr. Monkey Man gets pulled away once again. Andrew is very low, but he is kind of in a bad position. Famous is also in a bit of a rough spot. Is going to go down. Does not have 100 souls yet. Big sweep coming in from Novus. Sonya, however, is the next hero to go down, and this is looking increasingly bad for the side of Uncomfortably Numb, as that is the 3-for-0 as the objective spawns. Probably going to go ahead and invade on their opponent's camp as well, because why not? 3 kills, might as well do something with it. And that is exactly what we see. The 4 shots going out in favor of the Deviled Keggs is going to even that out, but they're going to get a little bit of extra map positioning because of that those kills and that camp invade. We do see Hanzo now completing his level 1 quest, so he gets those extra arrows. First person to finish his level 1 quest. Well done on you for that. Looking at some of the other talents, we do have the Power Word Shield and not the Blessed Recovery coming out from Anduin. I think both talents are pretty fantastic. We do have the Subdue coming out from Johanna, which isn't a surprising pick. Even if you only ever hit 2 heroes all game, if you never finish it, it's still a great challenge. A lot of damage coming out onto Famous, but is able to walk away. And still have 76 souls, so every time they pop that soul shield, that's a lot of additional shielding that they're going to be able to get against the relatively spell damage heavy composition coming out from coming from Deviled Keggs. We see Kira on the minimap. Looks like he went for a little bit of a gank out onto Blaze, but he was nowhere to be found already in the mid lane trying to soak. However, we do have Kira holding the top XP while Sonya takes that top camp. And we have now the rotations coming back in from mid. We do see Uncomfortably Numb is starting to lose out a little bit in the rotations, as we have now the level 10s coming in from Deviled Keggs. We've got the Commandeer Odin, Flailing Swipe, Bless Shield, very standard ult picks so far. And Blaze and Kel'Thas both holding on to their ults, as we do have the level 10s coming in now on the other side. With the Light Bomb, totally as expected. Dragon Zero and APOC, also both very expected. The Final Strike, pretty much standard. It did get nerfed a little bit, so I have seen the stun ult come out a few times, but it's a little bit less common. And we have Wrath of the Berserker coming down from Sonya. The Pyroblast pick is a little bit spicy from Kel'Thas, and we do have the Combustion coming out from Blaze. Got a big stun coming out onto Famous, but isn't able to follow up on it too much. Famous is, however, very low. Gets 2 people to the Light Bomb. It's a pretty significant shield. We have Kira gets Pyroblasted for about half their health pool, but it looks like Andrew on the Blaze is going to be the first person to come back. But on the whole, I think the health bars are a little bit lower on the side of Uncomfortably Numb, but Kira showing health bars that do not matter when you're able to secure kills quite as well as they are. And that is the easy 3-for-0 coming out in favor now of Uncomfortably Numb. 4 for 4 in kills, both teams taking very significant 3-man advantages in fights. But yeah, so all of the damage really that Uncomfortably Numb was able to sponge earlier when they lost that earlier 3-for-0 trade is going to be made up right now as they get their own and are able to pick up both camps just like their opponents were able to do earlier. You see in the mid lane, Sonya's able to pick up that XP and is going to head on to the top lane almost certainly. We've got the 4-person defense in the bottom lane. Bottom lane generally considered the most important lane on this map because it controls more objective points than any other of the lanes. We do have Hanzo just finishing up that camp over on the left-hand side. He's going to come back in probably to make this defense, I think. Is kind of just standing there, but he's headed back in now. So after level 4, the wave clear is a lot less, I think, in favor of the Deviled Keggs than it was before. A lot of damage coming out onto Kira. The arrow is going to hit all 4 people, followed by the 4-person APOC and the 4-person Light Bomb, but that's going to be... The Commandeer Odin popped a little bit early. The Flailing Swipe is going to disengage that fight, so... Getting the Kira kill for 2 ults and also getting 3 ults from their opponents, a pretty good deal for Deviled Keggs going into this next objective, up 4 shots already. Diablo is getting a little bit sectioned off. Gonna have to take the long rotation up to these objectives. Sonya's still in the top lane. I wonder if Deviled Keggs are going to position aggressively and actually try to take this. They are not up a talent tier. In fact, they're not even up an XP. And it looks like, once again, we're just going to have the agreement. Each side take your own. Not going to try and make too much of an issue out of it. As we do have a little bit of a engage coming out of Johanna, but it's Johanna. She can just walk away. And once again, just kind of both teams taking objectives relatively quickly and then just getting back into macro as soon as they can. Johanna, unstoppable up again, did get charged into the wall, but is able to just walk away. Sonya getting some... Sorry, not Sonya. Kira getting some damage into her and now just finishing up her level 1 quest as well. So that'll give her a little bit of extra damage with the longer duration on that damage over time ability that she has. We see Kel'Thas actually cleared out the mid lane, and we now see Blaze rotating down there as well, maybe not noticing that that lane already got cleared. Flip out onto Jo, but she's able to just press the shield and walk away. Oh, we have Blaze coming in to try and make this into a 5v4, hits 2 people with the jet propulsion. Pilot of Earth dropping the Light Bomb to try and peel from Famous. Famous is able to Shadow Charge out, but Anduin is not able to save themselves with that healing. Another big 2-person jet propulsion coming out onto Famous and Monkey Man, but able to continue walking away. Sonya did take the camp in that time, and that will almost certainly crash into the top wall, finish it off, but overall, I think a pretty decent trade coming out from Deviled Keggs. Definitely in their favor. A kill for a camp at this phase in the game is almost always going to be worth it. We do see those pumpkin sappers shoving into the top lane there, but not enough that Sonya's able to get anything out of it. We've got the Shadow Charge and the Dragon's Arrow coming in out of the Kael'thas, but not going to actually do anything. We have the grenade coming out to actually secure that Kira kill. Sonya popping Wrath of the Berserker, but not finding a teamfight to stay engaged in, is going to lose that, I think, more quickly than they had originally intended. We now have the Invade coming into the bottom camp here, out from the Deviled Keggs, and they're going to take that and try to get 2 channels out while this is happening. Andrew's going to make sure that Kiknaz cannot get the fast cap onto the right-hand side. And it looks like this is just going to be the 2 easy channels coming out from the Deviled Keggs, and that's going to put them up, I think, 8 shots now in total. That is correct. Look at me doing caster math on stream.
This red will be mine.
We do have now Blaze in the top lane, making sure that they don't sustain any more damage in that top fort. And we've got a little bit of a bush party coming out from the Deviled Keggs, seeing if they can catch Famous out in rotation. Do not yet have the Blessed Shield to secure that kill. Famous is, however, going to get executed with that Pyroblast. A lot of damage coming out onto B-Train with that 25 armors, keeping them up top very well. Kiknaz is the next person to go down. Diablo will be coming back in just a second with the soul reset, but Monkey Man gets brought down pretty low. Combustion doesn't actually hit anyone, maybe hit Pilot of Earth, but not enough to actually do anything. But this will almost certainly be the Deviled Keggs pushing down bottom fort. We've got Kira trying to finish off the kills with that execution with the final cut, but not able to actually hit anyone and do any significant damage. Diablo is back, but they're now about to be down level 16. Blaze rotating out so that they can make sure to catch that XP, maintain that lead that they have found for themselves. But I would like to see the Deviled Keggs push in now that they've got their 16 talents here coming out. We do have Ignite, which is not terribly surprising considering Kael'thas has mostly gone Living Bomb build from this point anyway. Entirely Living Bomb build, I should say. Diablo did go into Devastating Charge on 13, so gives you that initial extra damage up to 50%, and then gives you that 15 armor cut for 4 seconds if you manage to slam after you get the completion of that. So a lot less individual damage than it used to be, but potentially a lot more teamfight damage if you're able to have good follow-up damage. And we now have the level 16s coming out from Uncomfortably Numb. We've got the Piercing Arrow coming out from Hanzo, and the Lightwell, which I'm always a big fan of. That's so much extra healing right when you need it during a team fight. We have the one-man arrow coming out, followed up by the Apocalypse. Kiknaz gets brought down very low, very fast. Apoc hitting a couple of heroes, I believe. Monkey Man is going to be able to get himself out with the Shamana Privilege, but this is just too much damage coming out from onto Uncomfortably Numb. Monkey Man might be able to make it out if he's very, very lucky, but it does not appear to be the case. We do have the channel coming out from Stukov, as B-Train is just raining down the damage with these the Commandeer Odin, and that is going to be the 2 for nothing and the 2 objectives for nothing, which is going to put Uncomfortably Numb down to 8 shots left, caster math. And it looks like we're finally going to have our first actual fort taken down this game, as Deviled Keggs are pushing in, getting an additional kill. Sonya's caught a little bit out of position with really good follow-up CC coming out from Deviled Keggs. I will get these team names right eventually, I swear. We do have the camp coming out from the side of the Deviled Keggs. Lightwell observing everything that happened and unable to affect the outcome in any way. We do now have the multiple man rotation up into the mid lane, opting not to immediately defend in the bottom lane. You usually see that try to maintain the position. And here we do have the objective spawning right in this position for the next objective phase. We do have a bit of a wraparound coming out as the Blessed Shield is going to secure the Nova's kill. Nova's trying to get that ring around the Rosie, but the Anduin pull was going to be enough if they just committed to it. It's a little bit unfortunate from them. Johanna walking really deep into the kill zone to try and make something happen, but isn't able to get it there. Diablo a little bit whiffing that combo. Unfortunate, but the big 3-person light bomb is going to do a lot of damage, provide a lot of shielding for Famous, but not able to provide enough follow-up. Contender gets brought down very low, but Stukov is able to keep him alive just barely, so he can continue chunking out that damage. Ignite putting a lot of damage on a Pilot of Earth. Kiknaz does get brought down in the kill zone by that burning oil, and Famous is going to be the next hero to go down as we have the next objective spawning. If they get this objective and the boss, it will end in favor of the Deviled Keggs on Uncomfortably Numb's map pick. So Let's see if Uncomfortably Numb is able to mount an incredible comeback here. 3 versus 5 and prevent the boss from being killed. Novus does get the revolving sweep out. It stops him a little bit early, and Monkey Man is going to get executed with that Pyroblast. Attempts the Hearthstone. I don't think anyone thought that was actually going to happen. We do have the Commandeer Odin coming out just to pump a little bit extra damage at range. Get him, Anduin, and that is the first game going out in favor of the Deviled Keggs on Uncomfortably Numb's map picks, so very well done from them. Checking these stats because I hadn't done that basically all game. We see B-Train really pumping out the hero damage numbers, almost 20,000 above the next closest hero, which is the Hanzo on the opposing side. Healing numbers also really favoring Stukov in that game. And I think the big thing to point out is just the XP differential that Blaze was able to get. I thought Sonya had been winning in lane, but the XP numbers show a very stark difference, although that could be just from team XP, not just the in-lane XP, so... Time to update the overlay, indicating that the right team did in fact win game number 1. That is 1-0 for the Deviled Keggs in our best of 3 series. Just DMing Famous to find out if they're going to go for map or hero pick. Looks like they're going to choose for